money for pension is always returned, will never be there, because people will always get their monies. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Shema?
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I wanted to add on the issue of domestic areas. Some entities, Madam Speaker, they don't actually consider them during the budgeting process. Actually, they refer to it as unfunded priorities. So you can imagine suppliers who supply government and then they consider it as unfunded priority. How will it come within the budget when they are not considering it? So I think government is doing a disservice to the people who supply government, and the people are not paid. For example, there is, I'm happy that the Minister for Defense is here. You know, there are some land that is taken by defense for strategic positioning. It has taken like 15 to 20 years without paying them. Land appreciates value. And people have been moving up and down. Some still think that I'm the chairperson and they come to me. They are crying. And this is part of the domestic, accumulated domestic areas. Right Honorable Speaker, also another issue is the NTR that is not declared by the entities. This is an area where money is misused. You can imagine they generate money, they don't declare it, does not go to the consolidated fund. And in fact, I don't know whether you found out even that external financing. Some entities get some external financing which they don't even reflect during the budgeting. It is hidden there unless you use a different lens to find out. So these, for me, I believe these are areas that the Ministry of Finance should take care of in order to ensure that the money is not misused at source. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And the other question would be, when you delay to pay money, do you pay it with interest? The fact that you pay these external loans with interest, do you pay these payables with interest? Yes, Lucy?
Thank
Daudi?
you. Thank you. I want to start with the issue of NTR, just to expand a bit. I had the, and thank you so much, Chair, for a good report. I know you gave us a summary, but the bigger report is good. The issue of NTR, some of the entities actually declare, or they give a low projection, and to show that they have actually performed well. Now, if you're not critical, you will say, oh, we are clapping for you, you have performed so well, but underneath, there is actually a lot of things which are not going on well. Now, my suggestion and my recommendation is to the Ministry of Finance planning. It comes back to planning. You need to sit with these ministries, these entities, and really make sure that you guide them appropriately, because if you leave this to them, then they are going to do whatsoever they want, especially when it comes to projections. And also as Parliament, when it comes to time for budgeting, I think we need to look into these things very seriously. Before actually budgets are passed, we need to task these ministries and then entities to show us how they derived their the projections for the NTR. Otherwise, without that, we shall continuously have these issues. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Daudi. Timo Isingiro.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And I want to thank the Chair for the good report. However, Right Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to seek clarification from both the Chair and the Minister. Whether I heard you well, Mr. Chair, that 20 billion Uganda shillings was spent on Ugandans just to teach them on how to take coffee. Could you please take us through, including maybe the Minister was also taught? We would like to know where the schools are, which people are teaching, the teachers. What did I hear you well, Mr. Chairman? Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Chair,
thought other colleagues were coming. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank you and the honourable colleagues that have raised matters of interest. First of all, with respect to loans, as mentioned by the Honourable Onzima, our report highlights all those incidents and all those cases. We were short of recommending a total abolition to this loaning system because it would be adverse to the beneficiaries who are our workers. Instead, we recommended that this system be streamlined such that you do not deduct without authority. And two, in those cases where we are running manual files, of course, you must have seen my facial expression that in the year 2023, our government still runs manual files. You know, we said, look, you need to go digital. And I am sure our government will not find it difficulty in adopting. With regard to domestic arrears, yes, I think we raised all the issues that have been mentioned by the Honorable Karim and all the other honorable members. We could not recommend 20%. We said clear all outstanding arrears. And I think, Madam Speaker, you guided that these ones constitute the first call. So why would we continue running an economy where we are impoverishing? If you read our report, you will find that we've mentioned that this is causing businesses to collapse. With regard to the Ministry of Health and the UPDF, I think we made specific recommendations on that. One, we did not go to the extent of mentioning Bale, the Honorable Karim, but we gave general policy recommendations. With respect, Honorable Nyachikongoro, to unfunded priorities, I think that relates also to domestic areas. I've been exhaustive on that. Money not declared, NTR not declared. Yes, there are instances we came across and we made specific observations. Usually when people would come and say, I did not know the procedure, but yes, we got. Now, this is the dichotomy from our finding, Right Honourable Speaker. You may find a development partner that does not want to channel funding through the consolidated fund. Yet, the provisions of the Public Finance Management Act require that all monies must go through the fund. We said first, we cannot compel our developing partners to use our channel. But we compel our accounting officers, once they receive this money, to declare it to the Treasury for planning purposes and to avoid double spending, because you may find the government has funded the project, but also somebody else is funding the project. Fortunately or unfortunately, we did not come across specific entities that received double funding for the same project. Of course, I did not mention that there are entities we need to commend. In our report, there are those we commend for being compliant with the law. And we mention them because we don't want to be seen to be always looking for faults. Now, for external financing, payment with interest, Right Honourable Speaker, you raised a legitimate question, but the way we raised it, or we looked at it, we said, look, it poses a risk for litigation and attendant costs. Those will include interests, damages, and legal fees. Now, with regard, Honourable Lucy Okello, yes, one of our recommendations is that, and the Speaker has guided in the past, that when we get this report adopted, the sectoral committees should pick it and take interest because it informs the budgeting process, where to do what. So I think the Parliament has already taken a stand on that. Finally, Honorable Daudi Kavanda did ask me to confirm, and he asked me whether he had me right. I am not sure. I don't know whether you actually had me right. But for what I said, or what we produced in the report, is that yes, 20 billion Uganda shillings was expended by the Office of the Prime Minister to promote the drinking of coffee by building coffee kiosks across the country. the finding of the committee, we have made specific findings on how far the partner went in implementing this, and we came up with a conclusion: one, that they are not there. Number two, we came with the observation that it was actually an unnecessary expenditure. Why? Because we have coffee, we have tea, we have milk, etc.
They call it a negatory expenditure.
Actually, yes. Thank you very much, Speaker, for teaching me accounting. I think that is one way of paying me back for teaching you the law. Yes, I received information because he's a member and he was...
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and our Chair, for giving me the opportunity to supplement this report. One, the 20 billion that was spent on teaching Ugandans how to drink coffee is pitted against 4 billion we are looking to buy seedlings for our people, including coffee seedlings. That's one. Number two, the people of Kashar North and even the others across the region were hit by disasters. Some of their coffee plantations were destroyed. They need coffee seedlings now. So when you take 20 billion to teach people how to drink coffee, this is absolutely...
Right, Honorable Speaker. From Honorable Pendi.
These are committee members, yes?
I'm just giving information. Right Honorable Speaker, it is a pity that we sit in this house, raise very pertinent issues that require money. Remember, Right Honorable Speaker, how I have spoken, I think another colleague raised the matter of the students who were about to drop out of school, and the Higher Students Financing Scheme needed just 5 billion shillings to save these students. We could not find this money. But here is money being given. The Prime Minister was here when I was raising these matters. But 20 billion is given to an individual to go and purportedly teach Ugandans how to drink coffee. Can you imagine teaching Ugandans how to drink coffee? So, Right Honorable Speaker,
Right Honorable Speaker.
this wasteful expenditure, wastage.
Honorable Chair, you get all the clarification members want. Yeah.
So, Right Honorable Speaker, this wastage is actually unacceptable. We must actually ensure that action is taken so that we stop this wastage. We are now looking for 4 billion for seeds. Imagine how many Ugandans are going to benefit if we took seeds to them. Imagine how many students would be supported in school if we gave the Higher Students Financing Scheme 5 billion. They wanted 5 billion for 1,000 students. We couldn't find it.
Sarah,
so that's the information.
yes.
Thank you.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Chair, are you taking notes? At the end of the day, we want to know who disbursed that money, who gave out the money, and who was the money given to, and which areas benefited from the 20 billion. Because, okay, yes.
Right Honorable Speaker, I represent a constituency which has 7 islands without a single secondary school, though we have primary schools. Right Honorable Speaker, I will only need 2 billion shillings to put up a secondary school that will feed about 7 government primary schools in islands without a secondary school. Right Honorable Speaker, getting 20 billion shillings. I think there are people in this government fighting my government. You see, there are several ways of fighting a government when you are within. Because the people that we represent in this very honorable house, to hear that 20 billion shillings was spent on teaching people how to take a coffee, I think, Right Honorable Speaker, this is impunity, and the serious recommendation should be given. Thank you so much.
Solomon. Honorable members, you're all going to speak.
Right, Honorable Speaker, the clarification I want to seek is, where are these kiosks? For example, I come from Busoga region, Right, Honorable Speaker. We have
No,
not
but the
seen.
chair said they are not there. They are ghost.
Right, Honorable Speaker, let me,
Kiosks.
I am coming. Right, Honorable Speaker.
You're coming where?
Right, Honorable Speaker. Now that these kiosks are ghosts, Right, Honorable Speaker, this Parliament must stand, Right, Honorable Speaker, to take a very serious decision and a punitive measure against these individuals. Because, Right, Honorable Speaker, just look at what farmers are going through now. Today we were asking the Minister of Finance here for just 4 billion shillings. But we are talking about 20 billion on ghost kiosks that are actually not existing, but are being accounted for. Right, Honorable Speaker, I am just standing with members. Now that the kiosks are not there, let's take a serious punitive measure, particularly on this issue of the 20 billion for taking coffee.
Morris.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Sanon.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, for us to chew some of this story, we need to go to the root. Right Honorable Speaker, it has been a practice that people just come up with the formulas, they cheat money, they take Ugandans for granted and they walk away. Right Honorable Speaker, we cannot wait for 6 months when we shall receive the Treasury Memoranda. Right Honorable Speaker, we need to go to the root. Who began the story of the kiosks? Who began that story? Because there must be somebody who is behind this. Where did the story of the kiosks come from? For years that we have been growing coffee, my great-grandparent began taking coffee. He was not taught how to take a coffee. Who began this story of teaching people how to take a coffee? Now, who began the story of appropriating that money? Who came up with the 20 billion? How did they come up with the 20 billion, that figure? And who disbursed it? Where did it end? Otherwise, if we wait for the report, Right Honorable, we send it to government. It's in government where somebody is sitting on this money. So I suggest, Right Honorable Speaker, as Parliament, we pick that one and zero on that one. Like you see a tick. A tick looks for a soft spot on a cow and sticks there. So let us pick that one, Right Honorable, and we give, at least, we teach a lesson to some of these people, Right Honorable.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable, I have 24 primary schools without any single structure in my constituency. And every time we raise issues here on the floor of Parliament, we are given big excuses that there is no money. I'm shocked, surprised, and totally disturbed. How can 20 billion, who really initiated this activity of teaching Ugandans to drink coffee, that they should be allocated 20 billion? Right Honorable, actually Uganda is internationally recognized as being one of the corrupt countries in the world. Now, they are watching us that one of the activities in Uganda is to teach Ugandans how to drink coffee. This is total thuggery. It is theft. Right Honorable Speaker, I really want to appeal to you members that on this very issue, we need to be very strict and exemplary, such that we trace the root, how this came about, even confusing us that they are establishing kiosks which are not there. Right Honorable, I think by the time we leave Parliament, some of those people should just go direct to Luzira before anything can be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Right Honorable Speaker. No, I was picked. My contribution is, Chair, I think we need to...
Honorable members, I just want to correct the record. that the money that was spent was 9.662,236,680. And the items are production of coffee, that's training of farmers, the 3.831. Consumption of coffee, putting up a coffee shop, and attendant infrastructure, that's 1.906. Capacity building, teaching the youth the financial literacy and business management skills is 2.652. Project administration is 1.271. And the company is Inspire Africa, Uganda Limited. And this company, during the budgeting season, we still give this company money. Now you have the information.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. My concern is on the issue of domestic areas. I just wanted to point out an observation that...
Can we first finish the coffee? Let's finish the coffee.
Let me continue. My proposal on the coffee issue is, if there are wrong persons there, we need to blacklist those companies. Blacklisting would avoid further avoidance. You need to find out whether these companies are still doing something in the economy. Thank you.
Yes, Lucy Mutembule.
Madam Speaker, now that you mentioned the company, Inspire Africa, I've seen one.
I read the company from the document.
Okay, now that you've read the company from your document.
From
the
from the
our
report.
Actually, these people charge a lot of money for you to go and take coffee there.
Where?
In Gulu. The one I know, I thought even they were just business people. Yes. Yes, in post office, Gulu. In a government building. They actually charge a lot. It's very expensive. They charge a lot. So, for me, the point of, yes, there's a building in post office in Gulu. They renovated some structure and put me, I used to pass
Honorable
and see.
members, what Honorable Lucy is saying, that the Auditor General noted that except for Gulu, the coffee shops were either non-existent or in some places non-operational. So you're correct that they are there in Gulu.
Yes, in Gulu, not they are there. It is one. Hey, it is. The Mama of Gulu is saying it is now closed. But the one I used to see in Gulu, you would actually
give
pay.
Mama Gulu.
I will give her, but let me finish this one. But the one I used to see, I would pass by, and people pass there to drink very expensive coffee. So I wonder how they were.
Did you also take?
No, I used to just pass. So people used to tell
How did
me.
you know that it was expensive?
People tell me it's a very expensive place. Thank you.
That is hearsay.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Inspire Africa coffee shop in Gulu was closed because they failed to pay rent for the shop. But it was meant to be youth project, and I think it was initiated not only thinking by State House. So they failed to manage. But they ran it for close to 3 years. Close to 3 years. Thank you.
I think what the report is saying is from OPM, which does not say State House. Honorable Mutembule, Honorable John, Fred.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, personally I've ever consumed the coffee from Inspired Africa. One, Nimbale. It was there, and they used to employ youth. No. no, I would buy. We're buying. And then two, on Trade Towers, where there is Court of Appeal, there used to be Inspire Africa coffee shop. But for the last 1 year, I don't know where they went. They are not there. They have closed, that's what I'm told. So, but looking at the figures that Right Honorable Speaker have read for us, honestly, this was so...
The ones I read from the report?
Yes, the one you read from the report.
Yes.
This is very exaggerated because even the services for some of us who went there once or twice, they were not worth what we are talking about. Imagine if you have all that money, but still you're even charging us a lot of money for the coffee. And nobody came to me to tell me how to take coffee when I was there. Honestly, I went, I asked for coffee, they gave me, nobody told me this is how coffee is taken. I just took coffee myself because I know how to take coffee. So whoever gave money for purposes of teaching people how to take coffee, then I did not benefit from it because nobody taught me. I just bought and took without anyone teaching me.
Okay.
So that money was misused. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
John,
Thank
Fred.
you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. This is a call for us to start being intentionally serious on some of these matters. Right Honorable Speaker, if we don't take action against the specific officers who perpetrated this, very soon Minister of Health will come up with a budget to teach us how to use condoms. Then you will see Minister of... I mean, anyone is going to come up with anything. Right Honorable Speaker, the leader of opposition has been very categorical on how the office of the Prime Minister is run on so many occasions. This must be another additional wake-up call on taking action against the members who perpetrated
There's an order
this.
from somebody. Buire.
Some issues and words to some of us who are pastors in churches don't need him. Like what you heard from my colleague, I think that there should be a better word that should be substituted with that one which he mentioned. So I think, Madam Speaker, is my colleague really in order to plainly mention that word? Yet it could be substituted with another one which is better accommodated by everybody.
Right Honorable Speaker, I went to school with Honorable Widow Sanoni, and when we were at campus, they used to have a shrine in their home. I don't know when he became a pastor.
Right Honorable Speaker, it is on record, I come from a Christian background. And when Honorable Taylor, because he contested for guild president, coming from the same region, we saw that he could not go through. So we supported the candidate who could go through. And as a Christian, I told him that when we were praying...
Honorable members, can we move? Yes. Can we move? Taylor, have you finished?
Yeah, he's done.
Taylor finished, and you can go and sort out those things from...
We talk on coffee. Coffee.
It is a clear indication of what government prioritizes most. That government prioritizes teaching.
Government. It is a ministry.
It is the ministry of
Yeah,
this
even
government.
if it is under the government, even you're under the government. So that's what you prioritize.
So, Honorable Speaker.
Huh? So your priority is teaching people how to take coffee. Because me and you, we are government.
So, Honorable Speaker, if we can get...
Let's look at a vote where the money came from. Let's be specific, not making sweeping statements. Yes? Milton, Ekudo.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Madam Speaker, my heart is really bleeding when you hear such revelations. We shudder and we feel sorry for the office of the Prime Minister, because every scandal, one after the other, it's rotating around the same office of the Prime Minister. Madam Speaker, I have the first Muslim secondary school in Eastern Uganda, called Bukoyo Secondary School. Oftentimes, they have never gotten government infrastructure in that school. We've written, it is government aided, but apart from paying teachers, the infrastructure, up to now, they're still operating under asbestos dormitories. When you hear colossal sums of money being misused, being misappropriated like this, we really feel sick. I want to appeal painfully to the office of the Prime Minister to get saved. Save Ugandans. Let's bring the country on rail. Otherwise, the public will begin losing trust. They will begin losing trust in whatever we are doing because things are taking a wrong direction. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Ekudo and Innovation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, when I grew up, my mother and my dad could cool down the tea for me to take. I don't know whether that is how inspired Africa, what inspired Africa was doing. And when it comes to porridge, my mother could tell me, down there it is hot. Eh? You need to first of all cool it down. Eh? Also, I could not get an effect. Eh? Even I could take my tea, get it from the shop, mix it, and I take it. I have not gotten any disease. I don't know how special this program was. When we have problems in Gweri, when we have problems in Soroti Hospital, when you have very many problems, I do not have a technical school in Gweri, I do not have the secondary schools in Gweri, and we play around with these things. How I wish we could appropriate for bigger things that will benefit our people. I thank you.
Honorable Senel.
Thank you so much, Right
Naboth.
Honorable Speaker. For record purposes, my
Naboth.
name is Namanya Naboth, and I represent Ruvavo constituency in Rukunjiri district.
Honorable Naboth, please.
Right Honorable Speaker, teaching and all activities surrounding imparting knowledge into people's heads is a preserve of Ministry of Education. And to teach, you must develop a syllabus and who to teach. We must know the one who initiated the teaching of drinking coffee. Whoever has had a consultation from the Minister of Education, who is charged with the teaching, who designed the syllabus, who were to teach, who built the schools where they taught drinking coffee is, and we find out. And Madam Speaker, appropriation is a preserve of Parliament. Who appropriated this money? Who initiated the deal? And we need to find out, to know the proprietor, the promoters of the company, Inspire Africa, And then we help this country. And we dig deep to find out who exactly made this loss to the country, and we should take a punitive action on the individuals who initiated this. Other than that, we are facing a problem where we come here appropriate, and people go there and they disregard our decision as a parliament, and they do their own activities. I thank you, Right Honourable
Thank
Speaker.
you, Ayeko. Timo.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mine is just a concern. How does one begin to drink coffee? I have also been to Inspire Africa Mbale, but when I was there, Right Honorable Speaker, it was more of a corporate kind of setting, whereby they're charging 20,000 for a flask of coffee. And basically, they had different flavors, and you would really feel that, okay, there's something going on. But the aspect of teaching people to drink coffee for 20 billion, Right Honorable
For
Speaker.
9 billion.
For 9 billion. Let's break it down to what is on the report. It is very unfortunate. When you look at, for example, Teso, at least if it is in the report that they taught people in Teso region, then it is going to be really a very, very absurd thing, because we have never seen it and we cannot even account for it being in that area. But going forward, I think this is a very particular pick on for Parliament. I think we need to look at who is this person. And if you created it to enrich yourself with some wealth, you must vomit it. I beg to submit.
Thank you, Timo Chemonges.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On page 30 of the report, we have East African Civil Aviation Academy, which has got grounded aircrafts. Some of them made accidents, and the school is waiting for the insurance company to do compensation. And for that matter, most of the students have been sent home as they wait for the aircrafts to be operational. This school is called East African Civil Aviation Academy, which means it should be at a higher level. When it was instituted, it was for the entire East Africa. And at the moment, Uganda needs more pilots because we are developing our aviation industry.
Maybe to be specific, that is Soroti Flying School.
Yes. At the moment, I think it is called Soroti Flying School. So, Madam Speaker, I see a recommendation which is as simple as this, that the government should avail more funds for the operation and maintenance of infrastructure and the flying school. The government, according to myself, should really make this school more vibrant, to give us more pilots to develop our aviation industry, so that it goes in tandem with the aviation industry of Uganda. As we increase planes, our school should also be advanced. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
And on top of providing money for the aviation school, the government should also ensure it protects the land that is for the flying school, because the land has been encroached and taken by people. Chemonges.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker and honorable members, I hope this is not really true, but if it is true,
please,
that we allocated...
any record that is brought to the floor.
Madam Speaker, all the Ugandans are listening. Even now, someone have just sent me a message from Kapchorwa saying, Honorable Chemonges, is that what you people go to appropriate? We have been taking our coffee
Let
since
it be
we were
on
born.
record that this house did not appropriate money
So,
for
Madam
coffee,
Speaker,
for teaching people how to take coffee.
thank you. Madam Speaker, the office of the Prime Minister is where we, the members of this house, always run to in case of an emergency in our constituencies. Madam Speaker, I remember last year, my constituency was swept and people lost almost everything. I went, collected, we counted people, we made a very serious report, took it to Prime Minister's office. We did not even get even just a kilo of maize. And Madam Speaker, to sit here and listen to a very good report like this, which is showing us the expenditure of 9-point-something billion on teaching people how to take coffee. This one, Madam Speaker and honorable members, we should all stand as one. And we fight this. Because you can imagine we don't have health centers. One health center 3 takes only 1 billion to be completed. But now this is 9 billion. In fact, I took that coffee, Honorable Table said it. I took that coffee in a tweet. Madam Speaker, these people had just a small corner with a dispenser. And I remember buying coffee about 12,000 in a plastic, it was a plastic, yes. And then, yes.
Even Honorable Hadet knows it. Hadet, you also know about it.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Madam Speaker, I want to end by saying, the people who spend this money on pretense that they were teaching Ugandans to take coffee should be prosecuted immediately. If not, we can go as public and face these people. I take information.
Thank you, my honorable colleague.
No, I'm the one who has been given.
To allow me to give you information. Madam Speaker, teaching Ugandans on how to take coffee, me as a doctor, first of all, coffee has got a substance called caffeine. And caffeine is psychoactive. It is a psychotropic substance. It affects the heart, it affects the breathing, and it affects our blood vessels. I am only concerned on what would be what was the content of the training and how many people and where that were trained. But to say that training is not necessary, actually myself I had to be stopped from taking coffee because it affected my heart and I had to stop. You may think that just taking coffee the way you are taking it is how it is supposed to be taken, when actually there are steps in...
Procedure. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Dr. Ruta Higwa is actually a member of this committee. I thought he was giving information like the others did. We were looking for him to see if he would sign the report, and he was nowhere to be seen.
Thank you so much, honorable members. We need to get a statement from Christine. You finish, Christine.
Thank you, Right Honorable
from
Speaker.
the Prime Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to appreciate the members who made an observation on our roles as appropriators in Parliament. And thank you, Right Honorable, for making the report clear that Parliament did not allocate this money for purposes of the consumption of the public. Madam Speaker, this one now tasks all of us, legislators, to be very keen at the time of budgeting. Because it's very common that when the presentations are made, they give us block of figures without breakdowns. And I want to believe that the technical persons take advantage of it to block the figures, and in the end, they go and break it the way they want to benefit themselves. So could we take that seriously? And Madam Speaker, also, it is very clear that the office of the Prime Minister has to give us the responses in writing so that we fully get to understand why the diversion. Because also if the Attorney General was present, we would find out what the law says. If implementation is done contrary to the approved work plan of the what? Of the Parliament, let the penalty be given to the office of the Prime Minister for diverting in terms of implementation.
Thank you so much. That could have caused a mischarge or whichever. Can we have the persons responsible for the disbursement or giving out or conceiving the idea be investigated? The Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the members of the committee for this report. We know it is Office of the Prime Minister that was in charge. We have taken note, but before I go to that one, Right Honorable Speaker, coffee has many benefits, and as a country, it is one of our biggest exports, and it brings income to Uganda. So I'm requesting the honorable member who was giving the negative side of coffee. As a Ugandan, we are not supposed to,
Who was that?
The doctor, Dr. Kaigo?
He's a doctor, he knows the effects of a doctor.
Yes, he knows.
Of coffee.
But as a country, it is one of our biggest exports.
No problem, it is okay. And that's why we provided money for it for value addition. We value coffee so much. That's why we gave money for value addition.
Secondly, Right Honorable, coffee, I think the name that was given for drinking coffee, it was for popularizing coffee intake, but not to teach people to drink. I think it was given a wrong heading. It should be popularizing the intake of coffee. Then lastly, Right Honorable, we have taken note of the concerns of the report.
Honorable Prime Minister, as I read before, one of the items is production of coffee, that's training farmers, consumption of coffee, putting up coffee shops, and attendant infrastructure. 3, capacity building, teaching the youth financial literacy and business management skills. 4, project administration. Those are the aspects. It's not popularizing coffee.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. The clarification I wanted to seek from the Prime Minister, whether she clearly understands her role. Because as far as I know, the role of the Prime Minister is to coordinate government. But you are now saying that it is OPM that was in charge of implementing this activity. When did you become the implementer of roles that are supposed to be implemented by agencies that you are supposed to supervise? That is the clarification I wanted to seek from you, Right Honorable.
Right Honorable Speaker, by the time the report came out, we are supposed to be supervising. But we are going to come up with a Treasury Memorandum and
Honorable Prime Minister, the coffee consumption in quotes is a negatory expenditure. And I want to thank the committee for referring this issue to CID. Can we have an independent investigation on this matter. Let's have this matter investigated. We are not going to wait for a treasury memorandum. Let this issue be handled on its own.
Most obliged, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to thank my chairperson for the elaborate report and thank the House for the debate. Right Honourable Speaker, my takeaway from this very good report and debate by the House is an invitation to the House to take more stricter care of some of these social action programs. We know how people under NUSAF are beginning a raw deal in a number of areas. The beneficiaries went home empty-handed out of the so much money Parliament voted. I think it's a very serious invitation to the House that wherever these kind of social action programs are brought here for funding, we undertake more elaborate scrutiny as to vote and purpose and take more interest in how the common person is going to take a benefit. Otherwise, the coffee scandal was an act of creaming off. Money was voted, and the specifics were not probably elaborate. Otherwise, how do you explain, as Prime Minister, that money leaves your vote? You're not even sure of how you are going to measure output. I want to look at the worker plan of that project, of the coffee consumption thing, as an economist, and see how the kind
you
of...
need to get a work plan plus the output.
The outputs, how do they, what were the KPIs for that project that somebody signed that the money should move in billions for that kind of undertaking? It's really one of the scandals of our time, but it's educative of the House, Right Honourable Speaker, to undertake more scrutiny, because we are now undertaking a post-mortem. And I hope money could return to the people who are supposed to take a benefit of this project. The whole idea of promoting coffee is being handled at the tail end. Before promoting production en masse, we are promoting consumption of what's not available. I am a coffee farmer at a large scale, and as we speak, there's not enough coffee to supply the world market. There isn't enough coffee to supply the market. And we should be supporting the communities to grow coffee. Those who want to consume coffee will find motivation to take the coffee. But at least there is a general motivation of growing and selling to get money. That we must promote. But consumption, I think we can take a lesson, Right Honourable Speaker, and do more as the House of Parliament, that our people can benefit from these small resources. But in finality, again, the Office of the Prime Minister, in very big stars for our observation on how it operates and implements projects. I thank you.
Thank you so much. We need that money, that negatory expenditure. Person responsible for it should bear the liability. And we need serious investigation on that. I now put a question that the consolidated report of the Committee of Public Accounts, Central Government, on the report of Auditor General for the year ending 30th June 2022 be adopted by this House. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it. And just as a reminder, as per Section 53(1) of the Public Finance Management Act 2015, we need a treasury memoranda in this House on what has been passed. And you can bring before the 6 months, and we need a report on the consumption of coffee. The first week we report back. The first week we report back. If we are going to report on Tuesday. Then we need the report on Tuesday.
Most obliged, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much. Honorable Chair of Park Central, I want to thank you so much for the reports, very exhaustive reports, and your members. And I just want to give you a kind reminder that we need the rest of the reports. Short of that, we'll do an omnibus.
It's my undertaking and my team, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you.
We pray, subject to lifting restrictions during lockdown.
I don't know how you'll do it, but I want the reports. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the Auditor General presents his reports to this House, or to you, and they are brought to this House in December, if I can recall these reports that we are looking at. And recall, Right Honorable Speaker, immediately after that, the committees focus on the ministerial policy statements and the budget process.
Honorable
So all the way up to April,
Honorable
May.
Sarah,
Yes, Right
I
Honorable
am
Speaker.
not the maker of the Constitution.
Right Honorable Speaker,
I
even
am-
that constitutional provision.
Don't deviate from what the law requires of you.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Next item.
I am going to seek for you.
Next item.
For interpretation. I'm giving notice.
Item 7.
We have an Attorney General, so you can write to Attorney General.
Item 7, motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Public Service and Local Government on the functionality and service delivery in local governments, specifically in the 10 cities and the districts from which they were carved.
Honorable members, in furtherance to Rule 189 of the Rules of Procedure, the Committee of Public Service and Local Government inquired into the state of service delivery in the new cities. And I'm aware that Honorable Chair is around, and he asked for only 5 minutes. So we'll give you 5 minutes to present. And as you see that these cities are not operational, but Honorable Magesi here, I'm told, wants to start creating another constituencies. We will not allow, in this House, we will not allow constituencies.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. I will plead with you, Right Honorable Speaker, to give me at least 10 minutes, not 5. I really plead with you. But as I do that, permit me to begin by laying on table first the report of the Committee on Public Service and Local Government on the functionality and